Hi there. My name is Celeste Headley. I'm the author of Do Nothing: How to Break Away from Overworking, Overdoing, and Underliving. And I want to talk to you today about scheduling, especially during times when your schedule might be in an uproar, or perhaps during a time when you're in isolation, you're working from home, and the work life balance has been thrown out of whack. One of the things that I write about quite a bit is how already even in a normal period of time, our schedules are out of whack, meaning that we already work too much, we're too occupied with work, but also our work-life balance is very much out of balance, I should say. So I want to talk about how you make that healthy when you're working from home. And one of the most important things is to make sure you make that delineation between where you work and where you live. You know how when you're having sleep trouble, sometimes a sleep doctor will tell you to make sure you do nothing in your bed except for sleep. Why do they say that? Because they want to make sure that your brain knows that when you crawl into bed, it's time to sleep. It's not time to look through email. It's not time to do your taxes. It's not time to paint your toenails. It's time to just sleep. And your brain will then learn to switch over to getting ready for sleep when you crawl into bed. It's the same thing with your work. So, what you don't want is to carry your laptop with you all the way around your house, out onto your porch, into your kitchen, into your living room, and thereby teaching your brain that every corner of your house is part of your workplace. That's essentially what is happening. You're teaching your brain that you're at work every time that you're at home, no matter where you are. This, of course, is also true when you're not working from home. For example, if you regularly lie down into bed, pick up your cell phone, and start going through emails and even answer work emails at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night, from your bedroom, you've already started to teach your brain that your house is a workplace. So during this time when you're working from home, it is critically important that you establish a place where you work. And if you have to take a work call, you go to that place and you sit there. You can even look, harken back to your childhood days, you can build a fort. You can put walls up around it, whether it be with cardboard or cushions or whatever it may be. Create a contained space so that you're not tempted to allow the work to bleed over into your living areas. Then again, let's say that you're not working, let's say that it's Saturday, but you end up having to make a Zoom call or a teleconference. Go to that space and sit there and make that call. And when you're finished, close the laptop and leave that space and go back to your regular life. But also in terms of scheduling, it is really super important that you choose a time when you stop working. You have to choose your quitting time. And obviously, that's going to vary for each individual person about when they decide they stop working. And there are certainly some bosses who expect you to answer their calls and their emails at all hours of the day and night. But they're actually pretty rare, those who actually expect that, or those who don't respect it when you don't get back to them until the next day. What's really common is that people will download their thoughts into emails in order so they can get it off their own brain, but it doesn't mean they require an immediate answer. And I know this for sure because it's been tested many times. The vast majority of emails that we get are not urgent. And I can tell you this from personal experience. I have been for almost 2 years doing something called an untouchable day. That's a day when, even though I'm working, I do not answer email and I don't look at social media. And I create a sort of vacation responder on my email inbox that says, listen, I'm not on email today. If it's really urgent, call me. And let me tell you something. In nearly 2 years of time, no one has ever called. I've never had such an urgent email that someone had to call me on the phone. That may not be true for you. It's possible that you work in an industry where you get urgent emails all the time, but the majority of people don't. So it is okay to choose a quitting time for yourself. And honestly, it doesn't particularly matter when that is, but look at your daily schedule. What time do you start working? What time will you stop? And when that stops, don't check your email anymore. If you have merged your email inbox with your personal inbox already, your work inbox with your personal inbox, split them apart. For example, on your cell phone, let me grab mine. If when you look at your email, it's all one, it's time to split those out so that every time you open your personal email, you're not also seeing work emails. Choose a different client. Maybe one is Outlook and one is Gmail or whatever it may be. Choose a different client so that when it's time to stop working, you are not looking at work emails anymore. But choose that quitting time and then stick to it. Also, if you make rules, they need to apply to you as well. You need to stop giving yourself exceptions to the rules. For example, I know a number of people who have a rule for their kids that they're not allowed to bring cell phones to the dinner table. Okay, that's great. But if it's not okay for your kids, it's also not okay for you. You need to stick to that as well, because what is healthy for them is also healthy for you. And not only that, but you are modeling behavior for them in terms of how it is they're going to behave. It's very difficult for you to ask your kids to stick to a routine that you're not sticking to. Another thing to keep in mind, and this is especially true when you're working from home, is that you need to find the times, even during the workday. Let's say that I've chosen my work schedule as being 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. There will be times during that 8 to 4 time when I need to take a break. I need to take lunch. Frankly, you need to be taking a break once every hour where you get up and walk away and don't check your smartphone. But that is particularly important, the don't check your smartphone part, because when it comes to scheduling, oftentimes in order to release stress, we will step away for a break. And what do we do? We'll online shop, we'll check through social media, we'll look at Instagram, we'll maybe play a game on our phones. But the thing is that your brain doesn't necessarily distinguish between the work that you're doing on your phone for work and the work that you're doing on your phone for yourself. You're making that distinction. It doesn't mean that your brain is. So as far as your brain is concerned, it's still getting stressed out and anxious because you're working all day long without a break. We know this through tests about distractibility, the fact that your mere presence and sight of your smartphone can distract your brain to a large extent. They also have shown that if you leave your email inbox open on your computer all the time, your brain spends a good portion of energy thinking about that email inbox on a subconscious level, perhaps, but it is thinking about it. It's preparing to respond to a notification. So if you leave your email inbox open all the time, it cause your IQ to drop by 10 to 12 points. So when you're taking breaks, when you're scheduling in these breaks, which I hope that you're doing, make sure that those are real breaks, that those are breaks where you step out of your cubicle that you've created, out of your workspace, away from your laptop, and away from your smartphone. I mean, for me, I generally work about 45 to 50 minutes an hour, and then I make sure that I take a 10 to 15-minute break every single hour. And during that break, I walk away from the electronics. That's a real break, and it means I will come back ready to work and usually feeling a lot more refreshed than if I had walked away and looked for shoes uh, uh, online for 15 minutes, which is what generally happens, or looked at my social media, which also happens all the time as well. So when you're doing your scheduling, make sure that you have structured in breaks. Make sure that you have created a space that's only for work. Make sure that you have chosen a quitting time. Sometimes this is difficult when you are making these changes and the other people that you work with, or even the other people that you live with, a partner, a spouse, just a housemate, are not making those changes. And that can be difficult. One of the most important things, just for the sake of your relationship, is to make sure you don't present this as a virtue. In other words, that if they're not making the same choices that you're making, that doesn't mean they're bad or that they're wrong. It means that you're choosing for yourself what serves you, and that may not be what serves them. And that's okay. In your workplace, I would try to do the same thing. And without any judgment or anger in your voice. You can say, "Hey, I stop answering emails at about 5 p.m. I will get this right to you." In fact, you might also create a vacation responder like I do that says, "I'm off email for the rest of the night. I'll respond first thing in the morning. If it's urgent, just call me." That way you have an out. They can call you on the phone. The thing of it is that people don't like to call on the phone. And so therefore they really won't call unless it's actually urgent. So you will end up filtering out a lot of those um, unnecessary and non-urgent emails and messages that you get. But again, most importantly, it is to try to do this with as little um, fanfare as you possibly can. And by that I mean you don't need to make it a big announcement that implies that you are doing something that everybody else should be doing. Make these choices for yourself. Make them because they're healthy for yourself. And it could possibly be that other people end up emulating you. Remember, one of the most powerful ways that human beings learn is by modeling other people. So you could um, end up writing a blog. You could end up, if somebody asks you how it's going, then you can tout all the benefits of taking these breaks. But otherwise, it's okay. Choose what's right for you and let other people choose what's right for them. Now, when you are taking those breaks, let me give you some examples of great, refreshing activities to do while you're taking those breaks. Read a book, a novel. Novels are great, especially because reading a novel actually can increase your empathy. You can listen to some music. Same thing. You can take a walk in nature. In fact, researchers have shown that taking a walk in a place where you can see trees and greenery and any kind of nature can be a very powerful stress reducer, and it can actually relieve some depressive symptoms. That's not a medical opinion. That's just I'm just relating to you the research. So take a walk through nature. What people call forest bathing is fantastic, and you don't have to be in a forest. Walk around your neighborhood. Go sit out if you're lucky enough to have a porch. Go sit on the porch and look at the trees. Look at the world around you. If you see the sunshine first thing in the morning, it can actually also be a mood lifter and make you feel a little happier and have a higher sense of well-being throughout the course of the day or much of the day. So choose something that is either non-productive and doesn't require any kind of focus on a screen. That's all going to be good for you. It's all going to make you feel better. And in fact, research shows it will make you more productive. All of this advice that I'm giving you is not going to make you do less. In fact, it's going to end up making you accomplish more in general, because taking breaks is exactly what our brains are designed to do. Our brains are not designed to persist or stay on all the time like a computer. They're designed to pulse between activity and inactivity, focus and lack of focus. Right now, because we sort of have screens with us all the time and have eliminated boredom or idle thinking, we are basically asking our brains to focus all the time, and it can wear you out. We also know it can make you feel overwhelmed. It can increase your stress. It can increase your anxiety. But more importantly, it decreases the chances that you're going to end up accessing the most creative and innovative and insightful parts of your brain. So you need to find ways to give your brain time to just simply relax and wander. Those are the most fertile states of mind when it comes to new ideas, new patterns, new thoughts, new solutions, and new insights. These are just a few of the ways that you can schedule your day that might make you feel a little bit less anxious. And in fact, in the end, might make you a little more productive. But if nothing else, it's going to protect that fragile work-life balance that's so important to your well-being. Thanks.